I will call to order the June 26, 2023 Maplewood EDA meeting. City Clerk Sint, would you do the honors of our roll call?
Commissioner Villavicencio.
Here.
Commissioner Cave.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Present.
President Abrams.
I'm here as well. Thank you very much. Council members, is there a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Lee, the motion to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. The first thing on our agenda tonight is the approval of the May 8th, 2023 EDA special meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave, the motion to approve the May 8th, 2023 Economic Development Authority special meeting minutes. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. There's no public hearings tonight, no unfinished business. For new business, we have Tax Increment Financing District number 1-17. Ms. Parr, I'm going to turn this back over to you. This is kind of a ditto, I understand, but necessary. So let's go. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the EDA. I'm going to be brief, but I will mention, obviously, this was discussed as a part of the council meeting just a short time ago, but I still want to set it up a little bit. There are 3 items that you're going to be considering this evening as part of this Tax Increment Financing District 1-17. The first is a resolution adopting a tax increment financing plan. The second is the contract for private development that was in your packet. And the third is the resolution authorizing interfund loan. Under the terms of the development agreement, the EDA would issue a tax increment financing note to the developer in the amount of $4,500,000 to reimburse the property owner for the site acquisition and site improvements associated with the construction of the 150 units of market rate housing. The note would be paid for from future tax increment generated by the private development over a maximum term of 14 years, as was previously discussed by our consultant with Ellers, Shane Redland. Shane is here, as well as Mr. Beatty, our attorney, and we also have a representative here from Reuter Walton. If the EDA has any questions that we can field, we'd be happy to do that at this time.
Council members, I understand that we've talked about this a number of times. Are there any other questions for tonight? I don't see any lights, and I see heads shaking no. Then council members commissioners, got to get the terminology right. Let's go with the first motion. Would someone like to make that motion?
I motion to approve the resolution adopting a tax increment financing plan for Tax Increment Financing District number 1-17.
Is there a second? I will second it. Moved by Cave, seconded by Abrams, the motion to approve the resolution adopting a tax increment financing plan for Tax Increment Financing District number 1-17. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Would someone like to make the second motion?
Motion to approve the contract for private development with Reuter Walton Development.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave, the motion to approve the contract for private development with Reuter Walton Development. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Next, we have another motion. Would someone like to move that?
Motion to approve the resolution authorizing an interfund loan for advance of certain costs in connection with Tax Increment Financing District number 1-17.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Lee, the motion to approve the resolution authorizing an interfund loan for advance of certain costs in connection with Tax Increment Financing District number 1-17. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All 3 motions pass. Thank you. Moving on our agenda, we have the support of Affordable Housing Project JB Vang, Gladstone Village. Ms. Parr, this is yours as well.
It is. Thank you, Madam President and EDA members. As the EDA likely recalls, earlier this year, the City Council approved J.B. Vang's Gladstone Village development. That was a 65-unit affordable multifamily apartment project. It's located at 1310 Frost Avenue. J.B. Vang has started to work on a second phase of that project, which would be approximately 56 additional new construction units for mixed income affordable rental housing development targeting families located at 1880 English Street North, directly south of the project that was previously approved. Often this is referred to as the manufacturing housing park, is what you may know it as. J.B. Vang is pursuing funding via housing tax credits from the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency to support this second phase of the project. And as a part of the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency's application process, a resolution of support for the use of tax increment financing and a letter from the president of the EDA is required to be submitted. They want to have some assurance that we support this project moving forward in a financial aspect as well. There are 3 actions that are being requested of you this evening. The first is a motion to approve the resolution supporting the J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North. The second is a motion to approve the EDA president's letter of support. And the third is a motion to approve the acknowledgement for the Metropolitan Council's LCA funding award for 1880 English Street. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Shane Rudling with Ellers, our municipal advisors, to walk us through a couple aspects of this request.
Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President and members. I think we have a PowerPoint again as well, right? Great.
If we could get the PowerPoint up, that would be great. Thank you.
So maybe, well, it's so quick that I have a slide that relates to a comment that was made earlier, but we'll get into that in just a second. So and tonight, as Ms. Parr mentioned, J.B. Vang for Phase 2, call it, is applying for tax credits, and that action needs some things to happen from the EDA in order for that application to be considered more successfully. This is not an approval of the TIF district. We have done a preliminary analysis of the need for TIF on the project, and that's part of what we've done for tonight, but it is not the final approval of anything, really. It's support of TIF for the project, based on a preliminary analysis so that they can hopefully get the tax credits for the project. It is where manufactured home park sits today. It's 56 units. Sometimes it's been 51 units, so that number may move around a little bit. It does have a fair number of 2 to 4 bedroom units as compared to a lot of the other projects that we see, which drives up the per unit cost to a quite high number of $470,000. So think about that for just a second, $470,000 for an apartment unit, which is kind of crazy to think about. But the tax credits would pay for about 58% of the project, and then TIF, through that TIF mortgage, let's go back. You can see that's a relatively small number, and I've got a slide here, and there's 2 slides that talks a little bit about that. So based on our underwriting as it sits today, with the high-level project costs and serving a deeper level of affordability, this meets the but-for test again, i.e. but for the assistance, the project wouldn't happen. If the tax credits are awarded and we move into the process that we are into right now for Phase 1, this project would get the full TIF analysis at that time. The value of those 26 years of TIF on this project is only $328,000. TIF has been impacted by the 40 legislation, which was mentioned earlier. It's basically cut property taxes for these types of projects in half, and thereby TIF for the projects roughly in half as well. And I think a lot of cities are beginning to discuss the use of TIF for projects like these because it is such a relatively small number. And that's something that you all may want to consider at some time here as well. And that's one of the reasons why the ultimate recommendation from us, from Ellers, your financial advisor, is if you have cash, instead of trying to tie this project up in a TIF district for 26 years, that's something that you all can consider if you have that financial capability, because this project will only generate, when it is on the tax rolls, about $11,000 a year in city taxes. And that's not their total property tax bill, that's just the city portion. But on the city side, you'd only be getting $198 per unit per year from the project, just because of the tax law change. So again, the recommendation is, as Ms. Parr stated, relative to the support for the TIF district, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions you have.
Thank you. Council members, are there any questions? I know we've discussed this project a number of times as well. We have 3 motions in front of us. I don't see any lights on. Would someone like to make the first motion?
Motion to approve the resolution of support for the J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Villavicencio, the motion to approve the resolution of support for J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. We have a second motion. Would someone like to make that?
Motion to approve the EDA President's Letter of Support for J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Lee, the motion to approve the EDA President's Letter of Support for the J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. We have a third motion. Would someone like to make that?
Motion to approve the acknowledgement of receptivity of the Metropolitan Council LCA funding award for the J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave, the motion to approve the acknowledgement of receptivity of the Metropolitan Council LCA funding award for the J.B. Vang Partners project at 1880 English Street North. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you, staff, for helping us with that. Moving on, we have one last agenda item, the cancellation of the July 10th, 2023 EDA meeting. Ms. Parr, this is yours as well.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the EDA. We had a number of timely things that we needed to discuss, and we did that this evening. And for that reason, we no longer need to have that meeting that was our standing meeting previously that was scheduled at the beginning of the calendar year.
Okay. Our next meeting will be Monday, September 11th. Council members, is there a motion?
Motion to cancel the July 10th, 2023 EDA meeting.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Lee, the motion to cancel the July 10th, 2023 EDA meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries as well. Council members, we have gone through our agenda. Thank you for all of your help and for your vision tonight, and thank you for all the good things that we're doing for our city. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.